So for my entrepreneur interview, I interviewed Dane Kimber. He's a really good, close family friend and co-founded the company TaxHawk. They are an online tax filing software company. So, story of the business. From an early age, Dane always knew he wanted to be an entrepreneur. He just has that spirit about him. He is a coder and a programmer, and he got started when he was really young. He started on a Commodore 64. It's a computerless keyboard that you plug into a computer or a TV, and then you can write programs and run them. Very basic to what we have nowadays. Fast forward many years, he went to college and graduated with a programming degree, and he worked at Novell for a number of years, which was a software company based out of Utah. He had a close family friend, Robert, who was an accountant, and he came to Dane and said, "Hey, I think I have an idea for a business." And the idea was to start an online tax filing software company. And this is something Dane was definitely not familiar with, but he was the programmer and the coder, and Robert was the accountant. And together, they founded TaxHawk in 2001 with $2,000, and they founded it as an S-Corp. So that first tax season in 2001, spring of 2001, they launched with only one tax form, the 1040EZ, and that is the very basic tax form that quite a few people actually use to file their taxes. They didn't do any advertising, they didn't do any sort of marketing. All they did was post their company's URL link on irs.gov so that people could access it. That first tax season, they did over $400,000 in revenue. From then on, they knew they were onto something big, and they quit their full-time jobs with the companies and firms where they were, and they went full-time to TaxHawk, and they said, "Okay, we're gonna make this thing grow." And they started coding and writing out all the different tax forms and tax situations, and eventually they grew it to basically offer any tax situation that could arise nowadays. So, some keys to success for TaxHawk. They definitely have to be experts in their field. Anything in the tax industry has to be to a T. It's very stringent. I mean, that's a given, right? It's a very regulated industry, and with reason. So that is definitely number one, being experts in your field. Number two, they had to invest in the right people. They had to make sure they got a good team around them, and that reflects on TaxHawk. They're an amazing company. And another key to success, learning from mistakes. There have been times where the servers for the company have gone down because in the heat and the height of tax season, everyone's trying to file their taxes and get them in before the deadline. The servers can get overloaded, and so they've learned to account for that and to know how much server space they need. And lastly, I would say they've learned to not handle everything themselves. They've learned to delegate very well, which you need to do in a company of any kind. As far as learning, a few concepts I've taken away are have a good team around you, have the best people, don't settle for nothing but the best people. Another one as well would be offer great customer support, customer service. Show customers what you mean to them or what they mean to you, vice versa. And lastly, I would say you have to be not afraid to take it slow and grow your company at a good pace. You can't go too fast, but you also can't go too slow. You have to find the happy medium that just fits for your company and for your situation. So those are the things that I learned from my interview with Dane Kimber.